Hello YouTube, I'm Tim and welcome to another one of my DVD and Blu-ray updates. It's August, late Friday night, August 11th, and I have a few Blu-rays to show off of my recent Blu-ray buys, plus one that I've had a while, because I'm going to be getting into another one of my random tote videos. I've got parts 3 and 4 to do, and some of my old DVDs and one old Blu-ray, along with some new Blu-rays and DVDs, are stacked on top of that tote, so I want to get those out of the way first for another DVD and Blu-ray update. So, get a drink. Now, first one's a Shout Factory Scream Factory release that I pre-ordered through the Shout Factory website, so I got it a little bit early. It doesn't get released till the 29th, I believe, this month. Let's see. Yeah, it's the 29th, and he said get it shipped to you 2 weeks early. Well, I got it a little bit before Tuesday, so here is Vicious Lips, and this is one that Shout Factory had licensed from MGM. It's one of those old 80s Empire Pictures films that Charles Band produced. And now MGM controls most of the Empire Pictures library. And previously, this film was available from Shout Factory in a 2-disc standard definition DVD set called Cult Movie Marathon Volume 1, where this was paired with Roger Corman's Unholy Rollers and one erotic sci-fi thriller, Invasion of the Bee-Girls, and one other film called Devil's Eight. But here it is on a Blu-ray all by itself, and I opened it up and took a look at it, and there's no reverse artwork, but you do get, let's see, you do get, I guess that's a poster from from a scene from the movie, and then what's underneath this girl, I'm not going to show off, because it's a naked woman, and she's topless, or partially topless, and she's got 3 boobs. I'm not kidding. There's a rocker chick underneath this disc that has 3 tits. And then this girl on the disc looks like she's naked, but she's got one of her boobs cut off by the center of the disc, and then she's covering the other one up. It looks like she's taking a shower and some monster claws are grabbing at her. And when Shout Factory announced that they were finally going to do a Blu-ray of this, I'm assuming from MGM's own HD transfer, since MGM has an HD master done for their MGM HD satellite channel. 2 of the 4 actresses from this film started commenting on the new thread on either the Shout or the Scream Factory Facebook page, but sadly, neither of those actresses seem to get interviewed for the disc. The disc has just a single special feature, new interview with executive producer Charles Band, and being that there doesn't seem to be a theatrical trailer on hand, there's no trailer, but it's listed as being in a 1.85 widescreen like the DVD was. And it runs 80 minutes, I believe, and it's region A locked, and it's rated R because there's some nudity, and I'm assuming there's a little bit of graphic violence. We have this girl band of the future. Well, they're intergalactic rocker girl band, and their lead singer dies, so they sign up a girl who her name's Judy Jetson, not to be confused with the Judy Jetson from the Hanna-Barbera cartoon, to replace their lead singer, and they go off into outer space. Yeah, it looks like there's monsters in this as well. At the start, there's Gina Calabrese, who shows up naked in the unrated cut of the Dungeon Master, aka Rage War, and then we have Mandoa, who's another one of the Vicious Lips bandmates, played by Shane Ferris, and then Winsey, played by Linda Carriage, fade to black, and doesn't say who was their lead singer, Ace. I don't know if that character dies off camera or not. It's one I still need to watch from beginning to end. And they replace Ace with wide-eyed Judy Jetson, Drew Ann Perry. And this is written and directed by Albert Pyun, The Sword and the Sorcerer, and Captain America. And Vicious Lips takes you on a widely unique trip to some of the strangest rocks in the universe. And you just see these 4 girls, looks like they're on some alien, looks like they landed on some weird alien planet. And the tagline of the movie, they're lost and loose in outer space. And there's a clip of Charles Band being interviewed for this Blu-ray on, I believe, Shout Factory's YouTube page, but he doesn't really say much about this. He mainly just talks about, I think he just talks about working with the director. He briefly mentions this movie, and then he just mentions some of his other movies he produced for his Empire Pictures, which later went bankrupt, and most of it is owned by MGM now. But this is one I'm glad to see that they got the HD master from MGM, I'm assuming, and released it on Blu-ray, so they didn't have to do really any remastering of the film in HD since MGM did the work. So, it's one you might want to check out from Shout Factory, Scream Factory via MGM. The Charles Band produced 80s cult rock and roll sort of horror comedy, horror sci-fi comedy, Vicious Lips. And then I bought one new Blu-ray from Code Red via the Ronanflix website, an Italian creature feature movie that's dubbed into English. The Great Alligator, starring Barbara Bach, Mrs. Ringo Starr, and stars Mel Ferrer and Richard Johnson and Claudio Casanelli. And this is one of those drive-in style films. Didn't seem to ever be shown in movie theaters here in the US, but it went straight to TV, being shown on the CBS late night movie. It might have been shown on cable, I'm not sure, but I know there was a VHS tape release, and even though this wasn't shown in American movie theaters, the Blu-ray is listed as being rated R. And I'm assuming that's for nudity and violence. And this has some bonus features. It's a brand new 2016 HD scan with extensive color correction done here in America, with a brand new interview with underwater photographer Gian Lorenzo Bantaglia. and a brand new interview with camera operator Claudio Orabito, and a brand new roundtable discussion with Paolo Ricci, Giancarlo Ferrando, and A. Galeg. And then there's In the Crocodile's Nest, an interview with director Sergio Martino, and he's the guy who directed the Roger Corman produced film. Well, the film that Roger Corman later recut for US release, Screamers, which is also called Island of the Fish People, which strangely enough also stars Barbara Bach, Claudio Casanelli, and Richard Johnson, and then Mel Ferrer shows up in the new footage of Screamers, the US footage. And then In the Crocodile's Nest also features an interview with production designer Antonello Galeg. And then there's the original trailer. And it's in a 2.35 anamorphic widescreen in HD, and it's listed as region A locked, but I'm not 100% sure about that. I'm hearing some things online where some of these are possibly only listed as being region locked, but aren't. I'm hearing those rumors. And this is listed as being remastered from the original negative for the first time in HD. So, The Great Alligator. I've seen a trailer for this, and this looks like they just use a really mechanical looking fake alligator. But I think some people do get eaten in this movie like they do in Jaws, so it's a little bit more brutal than Jaws. And it doesn't list when this came out. I checked online and said 1979, but yeah, it doesn't seem to have a date. Just says 70s shocker. Looks like it almost says 76. And there's not really a date on the Blu-ray. It's listed as being 90 minutes. It looks like there's a number 76. So maybe this was made in 1970 and copyrighted in 1976, but online sources listed as being released in Italy in 1979. It got shown on CBS TV in the early 80s, around 1981. And let's see if you can see. I believe that's Barbara Bach, Mrs. Ringo Starr, and then there's the gator right there, that thing with the teeth. And the Blu-ray just has the same artwork of the gator, and I think that's Claudio Casanelli in the artwork with Barbara Bach. Yeah, that looks like Claudio Casanelli. And now, one Blu-ray I have just sitting on this tote that I've shown off before, Trailer Trauma, which I've watched a little bit of, and it has some rare trailers, and some trailers that aren't really as rare, like Iron Master. I've seen that trailer floating around before. But some of these other trailers are a little bit more rare. Dawn of the Mummy and Black Fist. And then Deathbed, which isn't the same movie that people think of as being Deathbed. It's Terminal Choice. It's what this trailer's for. Or Hospital. Maybe it was Hospital no. Terminal Choice. But on with some DVDs I bought recently. I bought some used DVDs online. some Roger Corman DVDs that are out of print, and some of these Shout Factory re-released on remastered DVDs like Death Sport. There's David Carradine on a motorcycle, and then Playboy Playmate of the year Claudia Jennings in the background holding a sword. And strangely enough, the DVD that I bought most of these Corman out-of-print DVDs off of eBay, and the DVD copy that they were selling didn't have this artwork. And it's, as you can see, it's in a really slim DVD case, and it listed as having the original trailer as a special feature on here, but there's no trailer for Death Sport on here. There's one for Death Race 2000 and a few other Corman productions, but no trailer for Death Sports on here, even though it's listed as being on the back of the case, and it's just a silver-colored DVD. This is rated R, and even though it's not listed, it's a full-frame version. There's cast biographies, interactive menus, scene selection, and then preview attractions. And I watched a little bit of this. Yeah, because the disc, when I first opened this up, when I got it delivered to me, the disc fell out, and it looked like it was a little bit scratched on the back, so I played it earlier, and it seems to play alright. And now it is 12 a.m. midnight Saturday, and we're getting close to 17 minutes, so... Like I said, Shout Factory released this on a remastered DVD. They did it as part of their Roger Corman's Cult Classics line, where this is on a double feature with Battle Truck, aka Warlords of the 21st Century. And while Battle Truck is in full frame, the Shout Factory copy of Death Sport is widescreen. And this lists 82-minute running time, and it runs almost 83 minutes. Stars David Carradine, Claudia Jennings, Richard Lynch, William Smithers, and David McLean. And director of photography, Gary Graver. Produced by Roger Corman, but I thought it says directed by Henry Susso. I thought it was Alan Arkish who directed this. Then another one I bought off of eBay, Roger Corman's The Arena, and this is another full frame. It's a decent full frame, even though this is supposed to be in a Technoscope 2.35 widescreen. And Shout Factory re-released this on to DVD as part of a Corman triple feature DVD with two other movies, but their DVD version is mainly from film elements, save for two scenes that were cut off the film print due to print damage that they had to replace using the full frame tape master that was used for this DVD. And this list is being 78 minutes, which is the cut version of one of the VHS releases called Naked Warriors. This is the full 82-minute US cut. I believe there's a 90-minute overseas cut floating around somewhere. But this is a standard cut of the film, which is 82 minutes, and it's rated R. And it has a Leonard Maltin interview with Roger Corman, which runs for almost 8 minutes, and then there's the original trailers on here, and that's in a non-anamorphic letterbox. And then cast biographies, scene index, and then there's some trailers for some other Corman films. Stars Pam Grier and Margaret Markoff. And this also stars some European actors: Lucretia Love, Paul Muller, Daniel Vargas, Marie Louise, Mary Count, and Sarah Bay, whose real name is Rosalba Neri, who's in the US we call her Sarah Bay, but overseas her real name is Rosalba Neri. She was in Lady Frankenstein. And a few more Corman DVDs. Here's another one that Shout Factory released as part of their Corman line, but on a double bill, Crazy Mama. And I believe this one, unlike the Shout Factory one, it's another full frame. I'm assuming it's an open matte full frame. And it lists classic hit soundtrack, and it's video interview with Jonathan Demme and Roger Corman, feature-length audio commentary with Jonathan Demme and Roger Corman. This says digitally remastered scene index, interactive menus, original trailer, cast and crew biographies, and preview attractions. And I haven't checked this yet to see exactly if everything listed is on the disc or not. And it's listed as being 81 minutes, and it's PG. Now, this movie takes place during the 50s, and it follows 3 generations of women and the men they pick up, and shows these women going on crime sprees from California to their homestead in Arkansas. So that's Crazy Mama, starring Cloris Leachman and Stuart Whitman, Ann Southern, Linda Pearl, Jim Backus, and a few other people. And then a Canadian one directed by David Cronenberg that Roger Corman, I think, has some home video rights to it still, but he only released it to VHS and DVD here in the States, while there was a Canadian DVD that got imported to the US from a Canadian home video company called Somerville House. Well, they licensed some of their stuff out, but Roger Corman put this film out on his own VHS and DVD label, David Cronenberg's Rabid, starring Marilyn Chambers. There you see 70s porno star Marilyn Chambers in one of the few non-porn films she did. And you see a guy, I guess that's one of the guys she bit and turned into a rabid zombie. She gets in a motorcycle accident, and she gets operated on, and then she starts wanting people's blood, and then every person she bites gets turned into this zombie that has rabies. And I haven't checked this one out, but just love that cover. It's rated R, and I believe this is a full frame open matte edition, where the Somerville House DVD was letterboxed, but it was kind of unevened letterboxed. And then Arrow did a combo pack, I believe. They did it, I believe, in a 1.85 or either 1.78 widescreen. I don't own the Arrow disc. But then Scream Factory, Shout Factory, Scream Factory did a widescreen edition of a David Cronenberg director's cut edition, where it was put into its proper widescreen format of a 1.66, which is director David Cronenberg's preferred aspect ratio, where Roger Corman had this, I believe, had this matted to a 1.85 for theaters, and then home video had it unmatted to a full frame. And this lists the original trailer, cast biographies, and preview attractions as being the only extras, but I haven't checked it to be sure that everything's on there that's listed. This is probably 91 minutes long, and it's R. Yeah, it's definitely rated R. It's violent, and I think Marilyn Chambers does a little bit of nudity in this, but probably not so much as she would do in a hardcore porn film that she had been doing prior to this. But this isn't a porno, it's just a R-rated horror flick. It's a Rabid, starring Marilyn Chambers, released through Roger Corman's New World Pictures here in the States, and released through Roger Corman's New Concord home video, and then Somerville House in Canada, and then Scream Factory in the US and Arrow in the UK. So, I like to have multiple copies of some films, and interested to see how this looks in an unmatted full frame. Make sure that it is an actual open matte full frame and not a pan and scan. And then one Roger Corman film that is completely out of print, and I don't think anyone else has re-released it to Blu-ray or DVD. Love Letters, starring Jamie Lee Curtis, and this is a little bit different compared to most Roger Corman films. It's not a sexploitation film, it's not horror or sci-fi, and it's not really an action movie, it's more of a sex drama. It's rated R, and I believe it's just full frame. It's listed as 87 minutes, but I think it might be 88. And that is supposed to be Jamie Lee Curtis making out with the guy, or a guy making out with Jamie Lee Curtis, but I don't know if that's really a good likeness of her. That's really her on the cover and on the back, but that artwork on the disc, I don't think, barely looks like her. I'm assuming that the trailer is on here, but I'm not sure since the one Death Sport DVD was missing the trailer. And one more Corman. Out of print one that Shout Factory re-released to both DVD and Blu-ray, the original Death Race 2000. And it's listed as 78 minutes, but I believe this is 79 and a half. And it's rated R, and I'm assuming it's open matte full frame, so it's not widescreen, but if you want to make it widescreen, zoom in on a flat screen TV, create a fake widescreen. And it's got some special features listed: exclusive Leonard Maltin interview with Roger Corman, which I believe that was carried over for the Shout Factory DVD and Blu-ray, and then original theatrical trailers, cast biographies, interactive menu, scene index, and preview attractions. And some of these have an old Roger Corman DVD catalog inside. None of these older ones have the reverse artwork like Shout Factory would do. And then there's two more DVDs that they're not ones I bought recently, but these are just ones I had sitting out on top of my DVD tote. That'll be part 3 of my random tote DVD totes. And when I opened up and checked out a little bit, from VCI Entertainment Beyond Atlantis, and this is a 70s drive-in film, and even though it's listed as being in a 1.33 full frame, it's in a non-anamorphic widescreen, so it's letterboxed. And it's a DVD-R. I checked the back, and the back of the disc is blue, so it's a DVD-R. And it has the original trailer also in a letterbox format. And the quality's decent, but it could use an HD remastering, provided that the film elements that VCI has are up to par for Blu-ray. I don't know if they are. I know the Twilight People is one that's supposed to be getting a Blu-ray, but I haven't heard anything about this getting a Blu-ray. And the front of the disc, even though it's a DVD-R, it's just the same poster art, are those bubble-dyed fish people and the one normal-looking mermaid princess. This one's a little bit boring. It has its moments, but it's not that great of a movie. See a few beautiful women like this mermaid girl, although she doesn't have fins, but she can swim around underwater like a fish. And then one more, and these are ones I've had for a while, along with this. Everything else I've shown is new stuff. DVD box set, A Saturday Night Live, the complete 4th season, which, as a special features, has archival interview footage from the original cast, and it's 7 discs. And I believe this was the last time that John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd were on the show, because after this season they left the show for their own movie careers. Well, Bill Murray stayed on for the 5th season, and then the 3 ladies stayed on all the way through season 5, and then it was an all-new cast by season 6. And this features Fred Willard, Carrie Fisher, Kate Jackson, Milton Berle, Michael Palin, Eric Idle, Elliot Gould, Frank Zappa, and Gary Busey, and Walter Matthau is guest hosts. And then Peter Tosh, Mick Jagger, the Doobie Brothers, Bette Midler, Talking Heads, Devo, Van Morrison, Grateful Dead, Ricky Lee Jones, James Taylor, and the legendary Rolling Stones playing live from Studio 8H with a musical guest. So that's all I had to show off for this DVD update. I have a few more Blu-rays and DVDs coming in the mail. I have one package coming from Kino Lorber that I bought as stuff from their sale, and then a couple of DVD Blu-ray combo packs coming from Powerhouse Films in the UK of their Indicator Blu-ray and DVD line. So when I get those, I'll show those off in a separate video, but I'm going to close off this video, and soon I'll be doing Random Tote Part 3, my Random Tote series. So I'm Tim, and thanks for watching my DVD and Blu-ray update, and keep an eye out for Part 3 of my 4-part Random DVD and Blu-ray Tote series. Thanks for watching.